Hello, and welcome to Asking Canadians' continuing series of Delve In with Asking Canadians. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Danielle Govias. I am the team lead for the Asking Canadians account management team. And with me today is Elizabeth Nowicki from Dig Insights. She's a VP there. Dig is your go-to for any of your research needs. They've been awesome. I've been working with them for a couple of years now, and it's been really great. Elizabeth, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm looking forward for us chatting today. I think we're chatting about some really interesting stuff that a lot of people have probably thought about during these times,
Yeah, fun topics.
for sure. Um, So, as part of our 15th year anniversary here at Asking Canadians, for you guys out there watching, we've asked our clients if they're interested in asking some questions about how COVID has affected people during these times, and we've asked our Asking Canadians panel. So, when we were looking into this opportunity, Elizabeth jumped on board to kind of talk about how COVID's affected our relationships, which, Elizabeth, I think we can agree here affected our relationships.
Yes. I'm sure a lot of people have personal experience with this, so they know what we're talking about.
Totally. And I was wondering kind of quickly, what made you think about asking these questions, or what kind of made you think about these specific questions to ask?
Yeah, that is a good question, good starting point, because I feel like a lot of what I personally do in my everyday job is a lot of consumer research. So consumer behavior, shopper behavior. Why are people making decisions once they're out, buying products? But I do have a passion in actual human behavior and just wanting to understand, what makes people tick, or yeah, what's affecting their lives and their personal feelings and emotions and values and things like that. So when we're wanting to talk about COVID, I automatically thought, well, yeah, what is happening inside people's homes? So yeah, what is affecting how somebody feels right now and the stresses and what's causing that? So relationships is a good way to go as a starting point,
For
right?
sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So when we kind of asked these questions, what were the key findings that you saw, or kind of the key takeaways from the data we collected?
Yes. Well, we asked a couple of questions in order because we want to get a little background on our respondents or Canadians that we spoke to first. So we started looking at who actually is at home full time, because at least my thought was maybe if you are stuck indoors with somebody full time during COVID, you're probably going a little bonkers. So we actually found in the survey that 43% of Canadian couples, I should say, that we spoke to, obviously living with a spouse or a partner, are both at home full time. So both partners in that couple are at home. So there actually is a lot of people stuck indoors with their spouse or partner right now. But yeah, um, there is up to 79% of those that we interviewed of the couples who say at least one partner is at home full time. So still the potential that somebody's going a little stir crazy that may affect their relationships, even though the other person might be out of the house. But that's a lot of people. Like that's more than expected to be, at home full time right now.
For sure.
So that's, yeah, one of the things we learned. But then we went in to understand, okay, how's this affecting people's relationships? So when it comes to parenting, if you have kids, your money, your personal relationships, what's happening? So we did ask everybody during COVID, have certain elements gotten better or worse, or stayed the same, unchanged during this time? And we learned that actually among parents that we spoke to, there's only 7% of parents say that their parenting skills have actually gotten worse during COVID. So not too many. And on the flip side, actually 14% say that their parenting skills have improved. So the net effect is actually positive, which I was surprised about. I don't have kids, but I imagine, I have friends with kids and they talk about how stressful that can be, the homeschooling and all that jazz.
Totally.
Exactly. So I was kind of surprised, shocked that there are people saying that their parenting skills are getting better. So I think people are kind of, at home. If you, again, have kids at home too, you're getting more used to the flow and how to deal with that kind of craziness going on, or all that noise
Right.
and motion, right? So that's a good thing. But we also looked at people's personal relationship with their partner. So we asked about sexual intimacy as well. And there you see a slightly different story. So we do say that 17% of Canadians say that their sexual intimacy has gotten worse during COVID. So a little trouble in paradise. And only 8% say that it's gotten better. So the net effect there is actually still negative. So still a small proportion of people, so a lot of people, still satisfied or happy with, status quo, but potentially some, personal relationships between those couples that are getting strained during COVID. So that's going to add to your stress, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then we looked at things like household finances. There's about an equal number, roughly, people who are saying that their household finances have gotten worse as who say that it's gotten better. So that's kind of equaling out. But where the biggest kind of effect is happening, biggest negative effect, is with those personal relationships with other people in your family or friends. So whether it's extended family members who live outside of your house or with your friends, that's where we actually see in the data that people say those relationships are suffering and they're getting worse. And that's where people are kind of having their biggest, I guess, difficulties maintaining those relationships. So that is going to affect how somebody feels, right?
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Were any of these surprising to you? I guess the first one is kind of people with children, right? Like I'm surprised by that a little bit as well. I wonder if that improvement, if I look at my own relationship, I have a 2-year-old son at home with me right now.
Yeah.
I definitely think I get to spend more time with him.
Yeah.
So do you kind of think maybe it's that time they get to spend with their kids that they wouldn't be able to spend if they were at work too? That could be a positive.
Possibly, yes. Because I exactly to your point that I was surprised by that. I thought if you are working from home and have kids at home, that's just going to create so much more stress, right? Hard to
Absolutely.
focus, all that jazz. But to your point, it might be that like, yeah, you can get more benefit out of it because you have that more time together, more
Yeah.
quality time. You kind of learn how to deal with each other a bit better. Maybe
Yeah.
you're just, I think by now too, because it's been so many months that it feels like 5 years we've been in this COVID situation, that people are maybe getting more into the swing of it and have a routine finally. So things have calmed down and people can live a little bit more peacefully with their children and again, there's a bit maybe more of a routine now. But if we had asked this question, I bet at the beginning of
Yep.
COVID, opposed to now further in, probably a different story, I would guess.
Absolutely. And even looking at the data, do you think there are things that people could be doing differently to alleviate things? Or I don't know, it's a tough one. It's your personal life, right? What do you do?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know about alleviating things. So we did ask another question though about people's physical and mental health because I
Right.
was wondering too, is that yeah, is this stress actually just, manifesting kind of in your brain, you
Mhm.
again lack of focus and just trying to deal with people, or is it actually taking a physical effect as well? And so
Right.
we looked at that data and we do see that Canadians that we interviewed are more likely to say that their mental health has been affected during COVID than their physical health has,
Interesting.
which that's another thing I was surprised about because I thought people would readily admit, I have been eating poorly. I just sit at home all day. I don't go to the gym. I don't exercise. I'm not moving. I feel that way. Like I don't rarely move anymore. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but then again, the mental health is I had thought would be a bit more manageable. Even though everything's still stressful, I can meditate or take breaks during the day during
Right.
work just to like calm down and try to regulate that. And I thought that might be a little easier than physical health, but not. And it's also, I thought, encouraging to hear that people are open to saying, yes, I am struggling with mental health too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely a real issue and definitely one I can appreciate as well.
For sure.
Um, but what is also actually kind of interesting is that women are much more likely to say that they're being affected negatively in whether it's physical health or mental health than men are, but also younger adults. So the 18 to 34-year-olds are significantly more likely than older adults to say that they're struggling both with their own personal mental health, their physical health, but also they say that their partner's struggling as well. So I think that the younger adults feel less equipped with this change. Like I think it's maybe you're still you're obviously in a younger life stage, maybe not have like an established family and that sort of lifestyle yet. So as you're still young and you're establishing your career, maybe just starting to move out, maybe not moving out yet, this kind of COVID effect and this change has been a lot harder for those people who's younger. So something I think that like everybody should be aware of, that the younger people in Canada may be struggling with this more than older people who potentially, and yeah, the reasons for that we're not sure, but maybe older adults in a later life stage have more of a support system of their own family sort of thing, if you will, where maybe younger adults don't feel like, they have their life partner yet and it's all kind of craziness.
Right. Right. I find it interesting, though, that those younger age groups are more willing to talk about those struggles they're having or divulge those struggles. So I think that's really interesting. So even though that younger group is struggling, they're the ones who are willing to kind of point it out and say, yes, I am struggling.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's really key. When it comes to the data collection side of things, we don't necessarily get to see how the data is implemented for your client. Typically, what's the next step for you and your team when it comes to reviewing the data and providing solutions?
I think what we do at DIG is not groundbreaking versus any other research agency. Obviously, when we get data from Asking Canadians, we do our own sort of data checks on our end, make sure everything looks good. But then we send that data to a team to get it processed. So whether it's data tabulations, we need to code open ends, that sort of thing. And then once that's all pulled together and we're sure that everything looks right, we really just start digging into the data. So looking through those tables, trying to find the story really from the results, right? So thinking back, what are our clients' objectives? What are we really trying to answer? What is the story that's going to answer that question? And what's the other surprising learning that maybe we didn't even anticipate in the beginning when setting those objectives? So, like a certain consumer group, subgroup, that maybe this issue really resonates with them or something like that. So we're then obviously taking that data, turning it into a report for our clients to really bring that all to life, answer those objectives, help them with their strategic direction, and really hopefully give them some new little pieces of information or, nuggets of insight that they didn't anticipate. And hopefully it really just benefits their business planning.
That's awesome. And especially I think with this topic, it's something that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And really kind of hits home because I think we can all talk about, what's been going on and the changes we've seen in our own families, right? So that's really, really great.
Yeah.
First of all, I can't believe we're in November already. So the year is almost over,
I know.
So it's crazy. It's crazy, right? So for you guys at DIG, what are you guys going to focus on for 2021? Do you have any ideas of what that main focus would be? Are there any big trends that we might be seeing from the industry as a whole?
Yeah, I think, well, for the industry, I was thinking about this. I feel it's hard to say because I feel like there's still so much unknown about with the pandemic. Like, when are we really going to go back to life as it used to be if we are, right?
Yes.
And everything seems to be indicating that that kind of former life won't really exist exactly the same way again, right? So whether, there's a lot more people working from home, which is going to affect relationships, things like that. Like, even those unknowns or questions, I think, at least for me personally, makes me think like I don't really know where the industry is going to go because we're all kind of waiting to see what happens, and we need to be able to adapt and be flexible with whatever happens, right? So one of DIG's, like, one of the things we really pride ourselves on is making sure that we have really customized smart solutions for clients. So our focus is always being, how can we come up with smart, intelligent tools that are really going to give deep insights to help answer those client questions. So going forward, we obviously just want to continue with that. We have a team, like a technology team, who's really smart, out of the box thinkers, a really smart analytics team who really just try to build tools, whether they're internal tools or client facing tools, respondent facing tools and methodologies that really kind of evolve with how both businesses and consumers act and how they want to share information, because that's essentially what we're doing, right? We're asking respondents for feedback, give us some information and we'll help, provide you with something. So we would just want to make sure that we keep up with our kind of tools that, again, work with those consumers and work with our clients' needs, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think with the constantly changing environment that we're in, it's really great to work with you guys because you're constantly kind of changing the way that you do things and building custom solutions for clients, especially in a time now we don't know necessarily what the future holds, right?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
so it's really great to kind of partner with somebody who does that because I think it only enriches the data and the information we're collecting,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. And keeps it fun, right?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, fun
Yeah.
all day. Well, Elizabeth, it was really great chatting with you today, and I really appreciate you taking the time.
Same here.
And I can't wait to work with you more next year.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. For sure. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Take care.